Hello and welcome to the Top 10 Business Ideas video series. So I put this video series together because I know in talking with different people that a lot of people do want to start something on their own. They're interested in that entrepreneur lifestyle, they're interested in opening up their own business, but they have no idea where to start. Or perhaps they have a lot of ideas, but they don't know what would be the best for them, what is worth investing a lot of time and money into. So in this 10-part series, I'm going to go over 10 broad business categories and then specific examples to give you some ideas of what that business might look like. In addition to the examples, I'm going to go over a list of pros and then a list of cons. So whenever I'm going through these, think of what would apply to you, what your values are, what your end goal is, what you really want to do when opening up your own business. So I hope that you find this helpful. I hope that it gives you some clarity, and please feel free to reach out. I'll put all my contact info below. And if you like the video, like and subscribe. And I hope that you are able to find your next amazing business idea. All right, enjoy. The first business that we are going to be covering in these 10 different startup idea videos is the bricks and mortar business. And this is probably a business that's most commonly thought of when somebody says, I want to start my own business. So we're going to be going over what it is, and then go into the pros, and then go into some cons. What is it? Bricks and mortar is a term used to refer to a physical location. Think, do you want an actual location for your business? Do you need an actual location for the type of business you want to open? Examples would be restaurants or bars, retail stores, boutiques, service locations, any location that provides a service like a salon, a dog groomer, a daycare. There are many pros to opening up a bricks and mortar boutique, and we're just going to be going over the top 5 of them. So the first one is that you can be the only business like this in your area, which means that you can monopolize an area if you open a business that has no competition. For example, in some small towns, people had to travel a far distance to pick up groceries. If one was to open a small grocery store in this area, they would have zero competition for miles. Another pro is that you can meet a demand that is not being met. Similar to being the only business in your area, you can also meet a need that is not being met by competitors. Perhaps that you've noticed an increase in health awareness among citizens of your community. They opened a new gym that's been wildly successful, but there are still only the same unhealthy restaurant options. If you open a place that served healthy food options, you can meet a growing need that has not yet been met in your market. The third pro is you can meet the demand in a different way. So perhaps there are similar businesses already open in your area. This can be good because it shows that there is a need for this business, for the business that you want to open. If you can differentiate yourself and meet demands that the other businesses are not meeting, then it becomes very profitable for you, if done correctly. For example, if there's only one coffee shop in your area and they have very limited drink options, if you were to go and open up a coffee shop that provides a variety of new specialty drinks, it will draw these customers away from your competition who are specifically looking for these types of drinks. The fourth pro is the ability to work with your hands, be face-to-face with people, and engaged in your community. If working within your community is important to you, then bricks and mortar is definitely the way to go. You get daily face-to-face interaction and the ability to actually hear customer feedback and talk to people. And the last pro that I'm going to mention in this video is a bricks and mortar location is much easier to drive traffic to than online stores. And it's important to pay attention to signage. So with a proper signage and a good location, you can cut out a lot of money and a lot of time in your marketing efforts. Think about a place that you went to just because it seemed enticing. What drew you to this place? If you can replicate similar signage and characteristics to invoke similar feelings in your potential customers, you likely will draw people as well. It is much easier to drive traffic to a bricks and mortar location than to an online business. Happy customers also equal free advertising as they tell their friends and their family about your location. So we just went over the pros, and like with anything, when there's pros, there's normally cons. So we're going to be going over several of the cons to consider whenever you're thinking of opening this type of business. The first one, and probably the biggest deterrent for those who want to start a bricks and mortar business, is the high overhead and startup costs. So bricks and mortar businesses are often the most expensive to both start and to run. There are many costs, including rent, utilities, inventory, insurance coverage, that all add up very quickly. And there's a pressure to be able to make a certain amount of money each month in order to simply keep your business open. So going along with this is the second con, and that you might have to get loans, investors, borrow money from friends and family. So because of the high startup costs, many business owners have to borrow money. The process of borrowing money can be highly stressful and can also push back your open date. Also piggybacking on this, having to borrow money can also cause extra pressure to make profits immediately and to run your business in a particular way. So depending on how you borrow money or who you borrow it from, there may be input from investors on how you run your business. Also, there is added pressure to run your business in a way that will generate profits immediately so that you're able to pay the money back. On a little bit of a different note, but still a possible con, is that you need to find the perfect location. Finding a location for your business that is both in your price range and a desired location can be extremely difficult. Some had to postpone their business ideas for months or even years until they're able to find this location. Also, there may not be a need for your business, for the business you want to run in the area in which you live. Are you willing to move to start your business in an area where the demand is higher? If you open a business that does not meet a need in your area, it simply won't be successful. And just a side note, this is why proper research is needed to be done prior to make sure that you are going to be meeting a demand that's present. The fifth con is that it can be a very large time commitment. So before opening a business, you will need to decide what your role is going to be. Will you be a manager, an employee, a marketing specialist, an operations director, or all of the above? If you plan to start a smaller business with only a few employees, you will be required to spend a lot of time at your business. If someone calls out sick, you will cover the shift. If someone quits, you will cover all their shifts until you find a replacement. Are you ready to always be on call? It is always a good idea to talk to other owners who run similar businesses and get an idea of what their roles are and the time commitment that is required. The sixth con is another money-related con, and that's the cost of renovations and upkeep. So when budgeting for both startup and overhead costs, you must include renovations and repairs. It is also something to think about when looking for a location. Renovations can not only be expensive, but also very time-consuming. It can take months to get a business to a place it should be. And often you have to pay for rent before you're able to open your doors. Just a side note that every leaser is different, and some will give you the first X amount of months for free. So this should all be considered negotiated. In addition to the initial renovations, there must be a budget to pay for any repairs that are needed. This is also something to think about before leasing or purchasing a location. You always want to hope for the best, but you must plan and prepare for the worst. And then the final possible con is the cost of employees. Unless you plan to be the sole worker in your business, you will need to pay employees. There are considerations when dealing with payroll, workers' comp, insurance, etc. Also, you will need to decide if you will hire a manager to help run your business. Will this person be hourly or salary? The more you expect of your employees, the more you'll have to pay them. And the worst feeling that business owners experience is not having enough money to pay their employees. So the better you plan financially, the better able you are to prevent not being able to have the funds to pay your workers. So that concludes the overall description of a bricks and mortar business. Just a little recap, bricks and mortar means that it is an actual physical location. Some of the main pros are that you can meet needs in your area that are not being met. It is much easier to drive traffic than other types of businesses, and you're able to get engaged in your community. The cons, the biggest one, are just all the costs that are associated with it. Also, finding that perfect location and the potential of having a very large time commitment to this business. So I want to thank you for watching this and stay tuned. The second video is going to be all about online businesses. So thank you. Thank you for watching, and if you would like more information, please go to www.mymbse, that's mymbse.com. And if you would like to receive your free copy of the top 10 mistakes of new entrepreneurs and how to prevent them, click below for details on how to get that.